Hey Life Church, this is John, Amber. We're in the lobby of our Saginaw campus, and we always take the final weekend of the year off. We close all of our Life Church locations to give our amazing volunteers a well-deserved break. So thank you, Lifers. You have killed it this past year, serving, rolling out the red carpet, helping guests feel like $1 million in Midland and Saginaw. And so no Life Church worship experiences this weekend. In the Psalms, they call it a Selah. A Selah, a rest, a pause. It makes you hungry for the next year. So we thought before we dive into 2019 that we would take some time to reflect, rewind 2018, maybe just kind of share some of our reflections, what we learned, what we remember about this year. We're channeling our inner Ryan Seacrest. Because you know on New Year's Eve, if you've ever watched the New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest, every 11 seconds he says the same thing. Every 11 seconds Ryan Seacrest looks in the camera and says, "And what a year it's been." It's a fun drinking game. Drinking eggnog, because there's kids watching this. Hi, kids. I'm Pastor John. So, no, 2018, holy cow. It's been an amazing, amazing year. I think back to January, and we started the new year with a new series, We Are That Church, which is an amazing title for a message series, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
We Are That Church. And then in February, Ian Clyda, who he and his wife Keisha have been attending for years.
Yep. And they probably invited half the people that do attend.
Basically, half of our church was invited by Ian and Keisha Clyda. And Ian kills it on stage with the bass guitar. He just is up there dancing, doing his thing. But I was just getting overwhelmed with paperwork. You know, more people coming to Life Church means more complexity. And so I just said, Ian, I just need your help, you know. And so he's been helping me out big time. And I think that same week I said, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to the other side of the world. So I hopped on a jet plane.
You went to Asia for a few weeks there, and we did the Underground Church series, which is possibly my favorite series of the year, I think. It's amazing how we can make the world smaller with technology, and with your iPhone, you were able to film some of the experiences you were having over in Sri Lanka and India and Nepal, and then just get those files over to us, edit them down, get them over to us so that we could share with our church family on Sundays and get a small taste of what you were experiencing. And yeah, seeing those church planters and people that are sharing the gospel over in those unreached areas and areas where it's illegal, they're risking it all.
Every little cells in my body is selfie. Every little cells in my body is well. Every little cells in my body is selfie. Every little cells in my body is well. Thank you, Lord, I feel so good. Every little cells in my body is well.
Hold up your right hand. This is Michigan. And I live here. I am a daddy of 4 children. And I love telling my children about Jesus. All right, we've had fun in this house church. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. Jesus loves you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
And I just, that story of you probably maybe remember the name, but the one guy that you interviewed who had been, his wife had been healed, then he was put in jail, then he was kicked out of jail because he was converting everybody in jail.
He had every bone in his body broken.
Right, he had been persecuted physically, and he just kept going. It was just so inspiring to see that kind of commitment, and it was challenging to me, and I think to the people in our church as well. It was a great series.
This is my friend David, and I have gotten to know David over the course of this trip. He's originally from Northeast India, just as my family is from Northeast India, and he reminds me a lot of my grandfather, in the best way possible. And so hearing his story, it echoes so much with what you read in the book of Acts.
All my family came to Christ miraculously because of one of my nephew was suffering from polio since 7 years, and one day he died, and for 2 hours people were preparing for his burial in the house compound. Then the Lord spoke to me that pray for this boy, I will raise up him, and it will be a testimony to your people. So I got shocked, and I thanked God and prayed for that boy, and really he raised up the boy, and the boy was alive. He opened his eyes and sat down and asked where I am. So the people of that village were around, all around over 50 people, and they all believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the whole idea of the underground church was I was invited to go with a group of pastors from America to India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. Basically just to show us a front row seat of what God is doing around the world. The stuff you read in the book of Acts, of explosive church growth where it's illegal to gather, that's what we saw. Mm-hmm. And so my role was to see what was going on, and to be encourage and equip these incredibly brave Christian leaders. And so I took my iPhone and I just was shooting footage, shooting interviews, and then I'd go back to the hotel at night and edit it on my iPhone. I didn't even have anything with me. And thanks to technology, I could edit it on the iPhone, send it over the internet to Christian Art, and then they would air it here at Life Church, which was amazing. So that 3-part series is still on our website, The Underground Church. You should definitely check it out. Man, we take things for granted here in America. Mm-hmm. We really do. We can sleep in on Sunday, we can go out for coffee, or we can go to church. But on the other side of the world, going to church is a life or death decision. Right after I left Sri Lanka, a month later, they enacted a law where all Christian leaders and churchgoers would be thrown in prison. You could be praying for the church in Sri Lanka. I met this guy, brand new to the Christian faith, disowned by his family and his friends. He's so fired up about reaching people far from God that he started his own training school in this shack. And we went in there, and people are just sitting on the floor. They don't even have Bibles, but they're worshiping with passion, and because I felt like they were teaching me, honestly. And I took a picture with this guy because he has so much faith that he has a written plan to start 100 churches and reach like 10,000 people in the next 10 years. And he showed me a map, and he's got it all diagrammed out, and he's figured out how to do all these things with no money, no resources, no support. And I came back at the end of February from that trip just saying, man, God is stirring something in me. I don't know what it is, but I know it has to do with this guy who's not satisfied to coast. He's actively trying to start new churches to reach more people.
Another part of your videos that I think it definitely struck me, and I think probably struck a lot of the people here, is when you were sharing about I think you were in a remote village at the time, and just discussing about how when these church planters and church leaders go up to people and say, do you know Jesus? Have you heard about Jesus? And they say, you said something like, no, we don't have anyone named Jesus here. You must be in the wrong village. It just gives you a glimpse of how there's so many people still out there in our world that have no exposure to Jesus at all. And we still have a responsibility to share that. I mean, in our culture, most people have at least heard about Jesus and have just chosen it's not for them for whatever reason. But in these areas where you were visiting, the people, they've never even, there's people dying who've never even had a chance to hear about Jesus at all. And so that was a big impact to me as well.
The organization that led the group of American pastors overseas is called the Timothy Initiative. It's named after Timothy in the Bible. There's Paul and there's Timothy. And about 10 years ago, they started the Timothy Initiative. It was a local pastor in Florida, and he just started doing missions work. The fastest way to reach people far from God is starting new churches. That's just true. That's why you see in the Bible the Apostle Paul starting all these new churches. And eventually this organization grew and grew because his name is David Nelms. David Nelms realized in America, we Christians have so many resources. We have money, we have time, we have medical supplies, we know business people.
Knowledge.
And within a few years, the Timothy Initiative grew so big that he stepped down from leading his megachurch in Florida, and full-time David Nelms leads the Timothy Initiative. And he shared the statistic with me that every 3 days on planet Earth, 375,000 people step into eternity. And of those people around the world, 350,000 don't know Christ.
And it's not because they've rejected Christ. It's because they've never even had a chance to hear about him.
They've never heard the name of Christ.
Nobody's told them.
And so that just grabs your heart, because as an American, even if you don't feel like you're wealthy, listen, if you woke up, took a shower, and you make at least $20,000 a year, you're in the top 1% of humanity in all of human history, right? You just don't realize how well off you are. And so David Nelms has his heart for mobilizing churches, church leaders to start churches, and it's an under-the-radar organization, but they are the most successful missions organization and the most successful church planting organization on the earth right now. It's bigger than any denomination, the Timothy Initiative. And so I'm excited that this January, we have Monday night worship on January 7th, and instead of the regular message, David Nelms, the president of TTI, is going to actually be at our Life Church Saginaw campus. It was a fluke. He was speaking Sunday, January 6th at Heritage Church, my friend Jeff Forrester's church, and when I heard about that, I said, David, Saginaw's just a hop, skip, and a jump. Come on up on Monday. I'd love for people to hear your stories. I mean, he's telling you stories of people being raised from the dead, and I mean, and it's verifiable.
Truly
this isn't
miraculous stories.
Yeah, this isn't nutty fake news stuff. I mean, this is all verified. And so Monday, January 7th, 7:30 p.m., come to Life Church Saginaw, Monday night worship, guest speaker David Nelms. You will be crying hearing these stories, and God will break your heart. So yeah, the Underground Church was a phenomenal series.
Yeah.
Came back in March, and we launched the Every Person Matters initiative. People wearing the rooster t-shirts.
Yeah.
Peter denied Christ 3 times, and after the resurrection, who did Jesus pursue? The very person who denied him. And so Every Person Matters really galvanized our church.
Also, March 17th, we celebrated 5 years. What?
We're
5 years?
We're almost ready for kindergarten, honey.
I know. Who would ever thought, that we would have made it this far? It's against the odds, but we celebrated 5 years, March 17th, and that was super exciting.
Yeah, when you start something from scratch, the odds are against you. And in America, there's statistics on starting churches from scratch. And something like 90% of new churches that start from scratch, like Life Church, are dead within 5 years. They just run out of people, run out of money, run out of steam. So we're not a statistic. Actually, we are a statistic.
On the good side.
On the good side. We are the rare anomaly.
Yes. The kind of the statistic you want to be.
Hey, Life Church, this is Gary Rohrmeyer from Converge Mid-America. Hey, I'm so happy for you as you celebrate your 5th anniversary. It is so exciting to see what God has been doing through your church. And we're so proud of the work that Pastor John and his family have done here and how he's leading you forward. And we're in India right now, and it's going to be so exciting to see how now that you're not only planting churches in the States, but you're joining our vision to see churches planted all over the world. And so I'm very excited for you. God bless you. You got a great future ahead, and have a great anniversary Sunday.
Hey Life Church, I'm Jeff Forster. I'm the lead pastor at Heritage Church down in Southeast Michigan. And I just wanted to give you a quick shout out, let you know that we are celebrating with you on your 5th anniversary. We are thrilled to see what God's been doing in you and through you. And we love the fact that we've had an opportunity to be able to partner with you from the very beginning. I remember the day I met John Herron, and just realizing he was a leader. God had his hand on him and had great vision, great dreams, and I knew that I wanted to find a way to partner with him. And then when we met Amber, we knew, hey, she's a great woman. They're going to be a great team together. And so as the process began, as we began to dream about planting the church, as we began to dream about the place and the team, it was just amazing to see how God just miraculously pulled those things together. And now here you are 5 years later. Many of you sitting here watching this video, you found Jesus at Life Church. Thank God for sacrificial people that were willing to do all that they did in order to get this thing started. But I want to remind you, it's only year 5. You are just getting started. It takes unselfish people to build a great church, and that's what you guys are doing. So I want to commend you, and I want to encourage you. I want you to know that there's people in Southeast Michigan that are praying for you and dreaming along with you. God bless you, and I hope you just have a great party celebrating your 5th anniversary.
Church Michigan, it's Bob Goff here. Happy 5-year anniversary. There's something beautiful that happened all the way from the Old Testament. A group of people moving across the desert, or for you, sometimes it's moving across the snow, into saying we're going to be the people of God together. So keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. Keep loving each other, because that's the only thing that's going to outlast us all. It won't be all of our opinions. It'll be the way that we love people. And so continue to do that together. Acts 2, they broke bread together and they had things in common. I don't think the idea is to swap pink slips. I think it's to trade your hearts and to say, we're in this together. All right, you guys, congratulations on 5 years.
What is up, Life Church Michigan? I just wanted to say, welcome to kindergarten. You guys are 5 years old, and I'm so excited. I loved being with you guys just a few months ago, and just to see the incredible growth that God has brought about. And just to think about my conversation with Pastor John, I remember talking to him on the phone, and he said that the reason he called me is because he knew I would fly up there and punch him in the throat if he didn't plant the church. I'm not sure I would have done that. I actually probably would have, because I knew God put it in his heart. But to be up there with you guys and to see a vision become reality was simply awesome. And if this is what God has done in the first 5 years, just think about what's going to happen in the next 5. So happy birthday. I'm proud of you guys. The best is yet to come.
And we celebrated baptisms at our Midland location for the first time in March. And that was really cool. Super neat hearing people share stories of how Christ has impacted their lives. And it was just neat to take the baptism tank off of the Saginaw location site and to go to Midland. That was just really, I felt like we really were one church in 2 locations. That was pretty cool. Then you get to Easter.
Whew.
We were a little overwhelmed. That was the series name, Overwhelmed. We did the Easter egg helicopter drop.
Yep. And not only did we do that, but we had to switch the time like last minute because of
Michigan weather.
You know, pure Michigan. So we switched it from the afternoon to the morning, and we still had a great crowd. Kids had a blast.
Our volunteers killed it.
Yes.
Our volunteers make
They
and
were
break
in the
everything
freezing
we do.
cold with smiles on their faces and greeting guests and making it an unforgettable experience
And only
for
3
families.
got hypothermia, so
Is that true?
no. Oh.
You never know. It was cold that day.
That weekend, we added extra worship experiences in
Yep.
Midland and Saginaw to accommodate crowds. And not counting the egg drop, just worship experiences, 1,200 people worshiped at Life Church that weekend.
That's
We broke
astounding.
1,000 in attendance, which is insane.
Right.
That's just nuts. So that was a pretty good. We were overwhelmed. That was the right series to do, overwhelmed, but it was fun. I felt like we were kites in God's hurricane. May was crazy. So the seed that God planted in my heart during the underground church when I was in Asia, I just was like, what do we do, man? We got to reach more people. It just kind of came to a head in May, and we stepped out in faith and said, we're going to start a third Life Church location to reach the greater Bay City Thumb area. So we launched Life Church in Saginaw, which is the heart of the Great Lakes Bay region. And as Saginaw has grown, in 2017, we took a huge step of faith and launched a second identical campus in Midland. And we've been thrilled over the past 12 months to see Midland grow from 0 to nearly 200 people. That's amazing. Only God could pull that off. So as we've been dreaming and praying, we've seen that our Saginaw campus continues to be hitting fire code on Saturday nights and Sunday mornings. That's a great problem to have when your parking lot is full, when your kids' area is packed, and when your seats are full. Man, that's great. That means more people are experiencing new life in Christ, but we need more space.
Hey everybody, it's Christian coming at you from the riverfront here in Bay City. We are going to be launching a brand new Bay City campus because here at Life Church, we don't want to become some bloated mega church where we expect everyone to come and meet at one location, but we want to make sure that we are taking church to everybody where they are at.
But a bunch of people got excited, and there's already a launch team
Yep.
ready to rip when we launch Life Church Bay City in 2019. Summer break, we didn't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. June, July, August, we did a mega series. Fearless. We are fearless. I like that. We were able to do the Summer Blast program for
yeah.
kids.
It was awesome. Our kids, they were
yeah.
super excited about it.
Seth was like, let's go. And
Allison and the interns killed that.
oh
They
yeah,
were awesome.
Allison, interns, love you. July, we did best week ever. Student ministry camp
Yes.
here at our Saginaw location. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing all those middle schoolers, high schoolers, worshiping God, developing new friendships. I think in the month of July, we ended up seeing a total of around 72 people begin new relationships with Christ. I mean, that's
Yeah.
incredible. When God is moving in the middle of July in Michigan,
And then we saw at least half of those, that number be baptized as well right after. So they'll have lifelong memories from that week.
yeah, the outdoor baptism service was pretty cool. That was
Yeah.
that was fly. That was fleek. What do the kids say? I don't know. That was rad.
I don't know.
It was lit. It was lit.
We are so not cool.
So September, we went all in. We
Yeah.
said we're going to simplify our vision and values. So we said, here's what we're about at Life Church. We want to reach the lost at any cost. That's what Jesus is about. That's what we want to be about. And then we said the three rhythms, the three values for our church are simply this: Jesus first, better together, all in. So Jesus first is the weekend worship experience. That's Book of Acts chapter 4. Better together is life groups. That's where you're going to have intentional community. People know your name. You get into people's houses. That's Acts 4. And then all in is saying, I'm taking responsibility for my church. I love my church. And so I'm a lifer. I serve. I give. This is my mountain I'm going to die on. And we rolled out the new growth track. We Netflix discipleship. And that's been incredible. LifeChurchGrow.com.
Yeah, and also in September, we personally had the unexpected, exciting news of Alicia being born, which is our youngest son's birth sister, biological sister, who his birth mother approached us and said, hey, I just had this baby, will you adopt her? So September was a pretty eventful month.
Amber Herron tells me she and her family received some surprising news back in September that would change their lives. The Herrons are a unique family. John and Amber have 4 children, all through adoption. And the news that came next would change that dynamic.
Unexpectedly, one of our children's birth mothers had given birth the day prior and had asked if we would consider adopting the baby that she had just given birth to.
So the bustling family of 6 has set out to become a family of 7, but not without the help of their community, especially as the clock winds down. Because on top of becoming new parents again, they've also got to come up with the money to cover that adoption. And to make matters more interesting, they've got a deadline of midnight tonight in order to have the funds ready by their hearing tomorrow.
Crazy circumstance that never happens, and so we've had 9 months condensed into 2 weeks. We're excited.
John Herron is the founding pastor at Life Church. He says once they decided to adopt baby Alicia, the price tag popped into mind.
We were not looking to adopt. We don't have the money to adopt. And some people would say we're crazy.
But the family says there was no way they could turn that request down. So in order to raise the funds, they created a GoFundMe and have been hosting a telethon through Facebook Lives.
Listen, this is an unexpected telethon for an unexpected adoption. We have no budget. We did not plan. This is the best we can do at 10 a.m., people.
And even with all of this, quote, craziness, the Herrons say they wouldn't have it any other way.
Adoption is such a tremendous gift of love. It knits hearts together and brings families together.
In Saginaw, Ashland Hill, WNEM, TV5.
I think we're still coming down off the adrenaline high from September because we only had 2 weeks to raise all the adoption costs.
Right, and it was exciting to see so many of you partner with us in that, and I felt so loved through that experience, and so thank you so much for those of you who helped out in any way. But that was an exciting event, which also impacted our church.
It was crazy. The staff, we did a 24-hour, no, it was 36-hour telethon, every hour on the hour. It was fun. We were like doing crazy stuff on camera and telling, silly jokes. And by the end of it, we just collapsed. We were so tired. But that's a neat memory because those videos are online.
Right.
And now when...
And our staff just showed up. Like, we didn't ask them or tell them. They were like, we're here. We're going to help you with this. So
yeah,
that was
really
fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Alicia's doing great. Alicia Hope is sleeping through the night. Thank you, Jesus. She sleeps through the night now. And if you're a parent, you're like, I can't get my baby to sleep through the night. 2 words, Baby Wise. That's the book for you, Baby Wise. Get that book. So then in October, we did a relationship series.
Who the bleep did I marry?
Exactly.
Yep.
That was really cool to see singles, dating couples, married couples, divorced couples.
Yeah, a lot of people were really impacted by that and experienced healing or began the journey of healing in the area of relationships. So
we also launched a fall season of life groups in October.
Yep,
and
with tons of people.
Oh, like 125 lifers.
We had more people than we had leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a great problem to have.
It was amazing. There's houses packed with lifers.
Yes.
And so you should try out a life group in January that you can register at the website. It's a lot of fun. And that brought us to November, December with our Blood and Thunder series that we just wrapped up. Thunder. Feel the thunder.
Yes, we're going to all have that song stuck in our head for the next
sick
2
of that
months.
Song. That's an obnoxious song now. And that kind of culminated with December 16th and 17th, our year-end Christmas offering, That We May, based off of 1 Peter 2:9. That it's a privilege to bring our best to God's house. And it's amazing to hear the stories of how that's impacted people. Like, I always, whichever campus I'm at, I always plant myself in the front lobby, so that I can hang out with people, hear people's hearts. And just yesterday, I had story after story from people coming up to me and just sharing, saying, I've been doing the New You study online, learning, discovering how in the new year to have stress-free finances. And literally, right here, I was standing talking to this single woman who's been coming to our church for 6 months, and she said, I've finally been brave enough to write out my budget. And just to write down her budget was a huge mountain to shift. And so I said, I'm proud of you. That's so exciting. And she goes, I gave my first $5 today. And I was like, that's amazing. Because it's not about a financial decision, it's always a spiritual decision. It's saying, I really am trusting God, and I'm putting some skin in the game. And so that's been incredible. I got an email this morning. Can I share this? Grab my phone. I got this email just today from somebody who started attending our church this year, a single gal, and I'll keep it anonymous, but she said, hey, last week during the message, you told everyone to get a moleskin journal to take notes, because we're trying to encourage people, write stuff down. Scientific studies, if you write it down, you'll remember it. So she said, thank you for sharing this simple idea. She said, I got a cheapo moleskin journal, and she went through all her notes from the past year, from the book of Acts, Ruth, Blood and Thunder, and she said, I'm starting New You online, and wow, my hand hurts, but my heart is full again. Rereading everything was super helpful, especially with the current loss in my family and knowing that God has a purpose for our pain. And so anyways, I just wanted you to know how much I love the journey I am on with Life Church. And so something as simple as getting yourself a notebook in 2019, get a Bible you understand, bring it on Sunday, get a notebook for your kids. How cool would it be to see teenagers taking out their notebooks and they're taking notes? I mean, I just really believe that the best is yet to come for our church.
Oh, yeah.
Not that we have to do these things, but that we may. And so I guess my encouragement to our Life Church family is A, get ready for New Year's, have some fun, be safe, don't do anything dumb. But B, there's still more work to be done. There's still people to reach. There's still ministry to do. And
there's areas that we can all grow in. If you don't have yourself a good Bible, grab one, because one of the things I'm excited about starting in 2019 is our new series. I don't know what you're calling it.
we're calling it John's Super Fantabulous. We're calling it God with Us.
Yes.
God with Us.
God with Us, yes.
God with Us. I'm so glad my wife knows the name of the series that she's pitching to you right now.
I got 5 kids to get in the door on Sundays.
God with us. Emmanuel,
distracted.
Jesus, God with us. So it's a great springboard for Christmas.
I'm excited about, our series, God with Us, starting in 2019, where you're going to take our entire church through the Bible and just seeing how we're all going to gain that biblical literacy and how it will change our lives.
And honey, I don't know if anybody's told you this yet, but we have a new series coming out in January. It's called God with Us. Very clever title, some great marketing there. So God with Us starts next week, January 6th, in Midland and Saginaw. Monday night worship, January 7th. David Nelms, president of the Timothy Initiative, will be speaking live at our Saginaw location. And truly, I want to invite all of our lifers to come and hear these amazing stories.
You don't want to miss that.
People risking their lives to reach the lost at any cost. That's going to be amazing. But last but not least, it is the end of the year. There's still roughly 36 hours remaining in 2018, and there's still time to be part of That We May, our year-end offering, giving above and beyond so that we can strengthen Midland campus, launch Bay City campus, help launch a new chapter of Cru. It used to be Campus Crusade for Christ, but now it's called Cru. That's what the kids call it, Cru. We're going to help start Cru at Saginaw Valley State University, and then we're going to help start more new churches like Life Church in the Midwest.
That'd be awesome.
And so, there's still time to give. If you're a business person, especially, get with your accountant, because it's a tax write-off. Everything you give to Life Church Michigan is tax deductible.
Yep.
And it's not unheard of at 11 p.m. on New Year's Eve to see checks and online giving all of a sudden spike. It may seem funny to you, but it happens every year. And so it's not too late to give. If your envelope is postmarked by Monday, December 31st, you can mail your gift to Life Church Michigan, 5200 Tittabawassee Road, Saginaw, Michigan, 48604. But you are more quickly going to be able to make a difference by giving online. Or you can text your dollar amount to 84321. We're getting hip. Like, you can pull out your smartphone right now, Text your gift, your dollar amount,
Yep.
to That We May, 84321, and boom, it's done. You've helped move the ball down the field, helping us reach our goal.
Yep.
Not because we have to, but that we may. And it'll be fun on January 6th
To share
to share the big,
the generosity
yeah.
that we experience.
And if we don't reach our goal, we're all going to sell our kidneys on eBay. So, kids, tell mom and dad, I want to save my kidney. I'm kidding. I shouldn't say that. I'm going to get an email. But no, there's still an opportunity until midnight, December 31st, That We May, at lifechurchgive.com. So, anything else you want to share with our Life Church family? They're all drinking their hot cocoa in their PJs, watching this probably.
I just want to say thanks for partnering with us. I'm always still amazed that all of you are coming out. I always just go back to those beginning days, and I just can't even believe how far God has brought this church. And when I think about that, I just, can't even imagine what He will do from here on, with people learning the Bible in 2019, people giving like they've never given before. It's just amazing to think about what could happen.
Oh, a tidal wave of generosity. That's going to change the region.
Yeah.
One last story, real fast. You just brought a memory to mind. Not from this year, but from about 5 or 6 years ago. We were trying to start Life Church from scratch. And so we were just trying to gather people at informational meetings. And I remember in February of 2012, I was like, you know what? I've got faith to move mountains. We're going to have an informational meeting. We're going to invite everyone we know. It's going to be crowded. They won't fit in our house. So we're going to rent a room at the local bowling alley. If you're from Caro, there's only one bowling alley. It smells like cigarette butts. So I took we had $20 in our pocket, rented this really
I think we were the only ones tithing at that point.
I know, yeah. It was a horrible setup. The room was dark and yucky, and I got this projector, a video projector, and I was like, we're gonna have hundreds of people show up. 3 people showed up. And the video projector, there was an electrical surge, and the only thing the church owned, it blew up. I kid you not. And I was like,
that's right.
I was like, oh my goodness, Lord, just strike me down now. I just felt like giving up.
Yeah.
And so at the end of 2018, maybe you had a bum year, maybe you had a tough year, you feel like giving up. Listen, keep going, keep pressing forward. Next year is literally 48 hours away. It's a clean slate. You have a church family that's praying for you, cheering for you. We have a new journey to go, God with us, that starts next week. So hang in there, right? If you had a horrible year, remember, the best is yet to come. If you had a great year, awesome. Let's build on it and have an even better 2019. But we need you. You matter. God loves you. And we are just a couple months away from becoming one church in three locations.
What?
Midland, Saginaw, Bay City. So gang,
crazy.
Roll up your sleeves. Come on, drill down deep, because it's going to be an amazing year. It's going to be awesome.
It is.
I'm super excited. Where are our kids? We got 5 kids.
I don't know. Where did they go? They're here somewhere.
I mean, you just have a full fridge at home and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. They're good. They're set for a couple hours. So we probably should go check on the kids. Hey, thank you for being on this journey with us. We'd love to connect with you on social media. You can find Amber Herron on Instagram and Twitter at Herron Hacienda. Not Mexican, but there's a little bit of Spanish there. At Herron Hacienda on Instagram and Twitter.
I like alliteration. What can I say?
She's not on Facebook. She's smart. I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at High Five John. At High Five John, Jon. So we'd love to connect with you over the holidays. And then we'll see you next week at Life Church.
Happy New Year.
Love you guys. And what a year it's been.